BBC News host Laura Maxwell grilled the SNP's Ian Blackford over his party's radical independence plan, accusing him of exploiting the ongoing coronavirus crisis to deliver Scottish independence. BBC Radio Scotland host Laura Maxwell grilled the SNP's Westminster leader Ian Blackford over claims his party is using the coronavirus crisis to push for independence. Ian Blackford was forced to defend the SNP's ongoing campaign for independence in the midst of a global pandemic. This comes after the party's senior figure Joanna Cherry called on the SNP to have a major rethink on its strategy towards next year's Holyrood election. In an article for a major Scottish newspaper today, Ms Cherry pointed to predictions of the SNP winning a resounding victory in the 2021 Holyrood elections. She compared coronavirus to the Second World War, claiming that Scottish independence could come out of the pandemic just like the NHS was delivered following the war. Maxwell put Mr Blackford on the spot. At the Prime Minister's questions, you accused the Scottish Secretary over remarks on the Constitution and opportunistic politicking. Yet on the front page of The National this morning, your Justice Secretary Joanna Cherry has called for the SNP to spend the time of coronavirus lockdown to develop a radical case to deliver independence. Mr Blackford responded, "When it comes to the government in Edinburgh, we are trying to act in a responsible manner in the middle of this crisis. We need to be engaging with the public, and deliver for workers on the front line. It is about the timing of those questions. Let's concentrate on those challenges that are in front of us right now. But it's true we will have a need to have a roadmap for the future of Scotland." Maxwell rebuked, "Will you have a word with Joanna Cherry and say now is not the time for radical changes and radical movement?" Mr Blackford deflected, insisting the SNP was absolutely focused on how we protect people and save lives. In her article, Ms Cherry wrote, "After the Second World War was won, when Britain went to the polls, voters chose not the leader who won the war but Clement Attlee, who had a radical plan for the peace. After this crisis is over, people may well be in mood for radical change in Scotland. We need to make sure the SNP is the party of that radical change. This means that despite the current crisis, work should be continuing apace within our party on policy development and strategic direction." She added, "It is worth remembering that the Beveridge Report was written during the Second World War. This crisis, although very different, offers a similar moment of clarity that we should seize and use to embrace fundamental change." Pamela Nash, the chief executive of Scotland in Union, accused Ms Cherry of an unbelievable focus on Scottish independence. Ms Nash said, "In the midst of a health emergency, it's unbelievable that Joanna Cherry's focus is still on how to break up the UK. Politicians should put aside constitutional divisions to concentrate on working together on behalf of everyone in Scotland at this time of crisis."